Welcome to Monterey County Pops Pros Teach. I'm Carl Christensen, the music director and conductor of Monterey County Pops. Our orchestra of fully professional musicians presents free concerts of pops and patriotic music throughout Monterey County. During the school year, we visit local schools and conduct clinics and workshops for student musicians in the afternoon. And in the evening, we perform together in a free concert for their community. We are committed to mentoring young musicians, and since we have not been able to visit schools since March, we have created this series of instrumental clinics. They will be broadcast once a week on Comcast Channel 24, and they will also be posted on our website, montereycountypops.org, along with downloadable exercises, tips, and other print material. Bienvenido a Monterey County Pops Pros Teach. Soy Carl Christensen, director musical de Monterey County Pops. Nuestra orquesta de músicos totalmente profesionales presenta conciertos gratuitos de música ligera y patriótica en todo el condado de Monterey. Durante el año escolar visitamos escuelas y realizamos clínicas y talleres para estudiantes músicos por la tarde, y por la noche presentamos un concierto conjunto para su comunidad. Para nosotros, la educación musical de jóvenes músicos es muy importante, y como no hemos podido visitar escuelas desde marzo, hemos creado esta serie de clínicas instrumentales. Se transmitirán una vez a la semana en el canal 24 de Comcast y también se publicarán en nuestro sitio web montereycountypops.org junto con ejercicios, consejos y otro material impreso descargable. And now, please enjoy our horn episode presented by our principal horn, Bruce Dorcy. Y ahora disfruten de nuestro episodio de corno, presentado por nuestro corno principal, Bruce Dorcy.
Hi, my name is Bruce, and this program is all about the horn. All about the French horn. We're going to be talking about a little bit of technique, but first I'd like to talk a little bit about myself. I come from a musical family. My mother was a musician, was in the Seattle Symphony, and that's where I first heard the horn. But it didn't make an impression upon me until I actually heard the horn outside of the orchestra in a chamber music setting. It was the first horn of the symphony, Myron Richards, playing the Mozart Horn Quintet with string quartet and French horn. And it's a wonderful piece. It's like a little mini concerto and really shows off what the horn is capable of. And I just fell in love with the sound, and it's been the same for, well, it's been over 60 years that I've been playing the instrument. I went to school in New York, Manhattan School of Music, and was very fortunate to end up playing, among other things, the show Fiddler on the Roof for 3.5 years on Broadway. I also won an audition for the New Jersey Symphony, and I did that for a couple of years. But I really got my start in New York, and I was there for about 10 years. Then I moved on to Toronto and the National Ballet, Canadian Opera, and I was there for 24 years. Since moving back to the States, when we settled back here in California, I've been playing with Monterey County Pops I think this is the 20th season. Well, we'd like to get a little bit of history about the horn. It really makes sense because we do a lot of things in playing the horn that kind of are because of the history. So the horn started off as a hunting horn. Much like this, just a hoop made of brass, made out of a single sheet of brass, and all these pieces are formed over over molds and soldered together, and there's a seam that runs all the length of the horn where it's actually and then the horn is bent, and they used to pour hot lead in the bell and then bend them over a mandrel, they call them, to give the right shape. And the lead was so that the metal wouldn't crinkle up. It would stay in a round shape. But anyway, this is how all the music that was written up until about 1840 was written for this instrument. Mozart, Beethoven, Haydn, Handel, Bach, all wrote for a natural horn or a hunting horn. And it worked rather well. You know, the sound was there. It's a beautiful sound. And much like a bugle, there were certain notes that you could not get on it. There were gaps within the notes. You cannot get between those notes. But it gave you, like this horn is pitched in F, it gave you a really nice F major arpeggio. So you could, as long as the orchestra stayed in F, you could play along. And as long as as long as the orchestra stayed in that key, you were just fine. However, if you wanted to change key, or if you wanted to play in a minor key, you could not use this instrument. So they developed this horn in around the latter part of the 1700s, so it would come off in pieces. So if you wanted to play in a different key, you'd take what was called a crook, you'd take it off, and you'd reach in your bag of crooks and you'd pick up a shorter one or longer one, whatever you needed to put you in the right key, because on a brass instrument, well, like on any instrument, it all has to do with the length of the instrument. That's why cellos and basses sound a lot lower than violins, because they're a lot longer. So anyway, as I said, this all worked really well until about the 1840s, and then the valve was invented, which changed everything and revolutionized horns and horn playing. But in the meantime, composers like Beethoven made some very interesting musical choices using the horn, and one of them was the Beethoven Sonata. And this is a little lick at the end of the sonata that shows off the arpeggio. These are all open notes on the F horn. And that's how the first movement of the Beethoven Horn Sonata ends. Well, as I say, this all worked. It was cumbersome, but it all worked okay. But then, in 1840, the valve was invented, and it just meant that you could change key instantly. When this horn is actually pitched in B flat. So it gives me a B flat arpeggio. And if you press down this second valve, it lengthens, it diverts the air and the vibration down into this second valve here, makes it about 6 inches long and puts you into the key of A. First valve, it puts you down a whole step, or an A flat. First and second valve combined puts you into D. And so on, using all the combinations, or 7 different combinations: first, open, second, first and second, second and third, first and third, and then all 3 valves. You can get all the notes on the piano or a chromatic scale. Well, this, as I said, changed everything and made the horn tremendously versatile. And this is basically what we have today. Now, this horn was made in about 1960, but it's really, and all these horns haven't really changed much until since the early 1900s. So all the horn and the way they make them and the valves and everything are just the same. So you go to any orchestra in the world and you'll see basically the same kind of concept of a horn. There's really nothing new, and the reason is the sound. Because if you change it too much, then you affect the sound. And they want to keep the sound, because that's the whole thing about the horn. Well, I've just been talking about the F horn and B flat horn. For you out there who are playing an F horn, this is going to be all about the B flat horn. And if you can, talk to your band director and try to get a B flat horn. They're a lot easier to play. You'll have a lot more fun, and they use B flat trumpet fingering, so they're easy to learn. And the reason they're easier is because as you get higher and higher and higher, the partials, the notes, get closer and closer together. So it just means you can go higher, and the notes are still not too close together. So B flat horns are really the way to go. F horn is about 12 feet long. B flat horn is about 9 feet long. It's the same length as a trombone. Okay, I want to talk about some techniques now on getting a buzz and getting started on the horn. And if you already are way past that, bear with me because I have no way of knowing what level you are in your study of the horn. So anyway, the first thing I want to say is please sit up straight. The reason I'm sitting on a stool here and not a chair is that a lot of people rest the horn on their leg when they play, and I can see why. It's heavy. I mean, it's about maybe 4 pounds or something, and it does get tiring, tedious to hold it up. But if you are going to do that, then get the horn into position and then put it on your leg. Don't do the reverse. Get it in a position where it feels good, because that's the most natural way to play it. Put it so it actually feels the best, and then bring your leg up to it if you can, or whatever you need to do. I prefer holding the horn free. You get a better sound, you get a more open sound, and as I say, it's a more natural position. The other thing is the buzz. We all buzz our lips to make the vibration. Sound, of course, is vibration. We have to make the vibration somehow, so that's what we're doing. And I had a very successful living as a person who just buzzed his lips. And it sounds crazy to think about it, but that's what we do. The mouthpiece just kind of focuses and amplifies the buzz a little bit, but we want to do it as easily and naturally as possible. And the horn embouchure, what we call all the muscles that make the face that you need to make a buzz, are slightly different than on a trumpet or trombone. Trumpet or trombone, you kind of pull the mouthpiece down and hook it in you can't really see because of my beard, but underneath the fleshy part of your lip, you kind of hook it down there in the white part of your skin. On the horn, you actually set the mouthpiece on the fleshy part of your lower lip. It goes over the top lip and sets into the lower lip. 2/3 of the mouthpiece on the top lip, 1/3 on the lower lip. And I've forgotten already, I have some visuals. The correct posture demonstrated by the renowned Philip Farkas, who was I actually had a couple of lessons with. Okay, the first thing we need to do is talk about playing posture, and if you could, please put the number 1 example up on the screen. Playing posture, please sit up and hold the horn free. A lot of students, I had one student who used to sit like this in class, all slunched over, and then he would just put his face down to the horn and then play it like that. You can't breathe. You need to be able to get a lot of volume of air. You're just pumping, especially when you're playing a long, loud passage. You're just pumping air through the horn. So sit up. Play it in the most natural way you can. And then if you are going to set it on your right leg, which a lot of people do, and that's fine. And get the horn set first and then put it down on your leg so that it's in the most natural position. Number 2 screen is all about hand position. We're the only instrument, the brass instrument, where you put your hand in the bell and that's from old hand horn technique of stopping the instrument in order to kind of try to fill in those gaps that I talked about before. So anyway, you want to make your hand into kind of a paddle like you're swimming, with your thumb kind of on the top like that, and then stick it on the far side of the bell. So the sound has a lot of weight, a lot of area to come out. So on the far side of the bell, like a paddle, and with your fingers straight, like that, and then you kind of hold the horn right on. I don't know if you can see this, but kind of you make a triangle with your hand, with your finger, your thumb, and your first finger, and then you hold the horn on that. And try not to curve your fingers. You want to have as much area for the sound to come out at all. You don't want a covered sound. You want a nice open sound. The next thing to talk about is the embouchure, horn embouchure, and meaning by that all the muscles that we use to make the buzz. And so we're also different from other brass players. We put our mouthpiece 2/3 on the upper lip and 1/3 on the bottom. Trumpet players are usually about 50-50, and I think trombone players as well. But we're the only brass instrument where you actually set the mouthpiece into the fleshy part of your lower lip. It doesn't go down on your skin below your lips, it goes into your lower lip, and then over and on top of your upper lip. And that's how you make a French horn embouchure. It's very critical, and I would suggest that young students, it's really wise to get help from a horn player teacher to get you started, because a lot of brass players miss that real distinction between the horn and other instruments, and it'll set you back. It's a lot harder to play the horn with a trumpet embouchure or some other kind of embouchure. It's a very specific embouchure, and there's no way you can cover the range of the horn if you use a trumpet embouchure. You can't get the low notes. Your lip is kind of stuck inside the mouthpiece, and you have to be able to make. If you watch me, I'll go high to low. I'm actually moving my jaw and my lips. It moves quite a bit. There's quite a bit of movement there, and you've got to be able to do that, and setting the horn, the mouthpiece on the 2/3, 1/3 is a much better idea. It'll enable you to progress a lot faster. Okay, we want to try something. So all you horn players out there, grab your mouthpiece, and we'll do some stuff together. First, the buzz. So 2/3 on the upper lip, 1/3 on the bottom. If you're not there or even close, move by small increments. Like every time you pick up the horn, think 2/3, 1/3, or some mental picture that you can have in your mind to eventually achieve it. You don't have to do it right now. It can be done over weeks or the next month, something like that. Believe me, you'll notice the difference. So let's just do a little bit of, I don't know what you'd call it, breath attacks, I guess. What we want to do is put the mouthpiece up and get a vibration without tonguing. So we're just going to blow air through the lips and make the buzz. And this is how to make it should not be difficult to do this. And if you're doing it properly, it should be very easy to get the mouthpiece to buzz. Like that. And then to finish it off, you just tongue it. And that in a nutshell is how to make an embouchure, a correct embouchure, and buzz the lips. If you're forcing it, like I see students, and I'll do this in a little concert setting that we do that is going to be available to your schools fairly soon, our Peter and the Wolf program. And I'll say, well, I buzz my lips in order to make the notes, and kids think that's really funny and they try to do it. and they're contorting their face, it should be very easy. If you're working too hard, you're doing it wrong. Just figure an easy way to make the sound. Doesn't have to be perfect. What you're trying to do is figure it out for yourself how to make a really relaxed buzz without too much effort. Okay, then you just put the mouthpiece in the horn, and let's just do a C major scale. And so this is an F concert scale for you sticklers out there. A C major scale, and I'll be doing B flat fingering. So if you're watching my fingers, this is, by the way, screen number 4. This is all the major scales and arpeggios. We're going to do a C major scale, do 2 notes, one breath attack, one attack, and then we go to the next note. So it'll be like this. Okay, just come on. We're on F now, written F. First valve on an F horn, open on a B flat horn. And that is a very good exercise to get you warmed up. The air gets your whole body accustomed to pumping air out, because all we're doing is just, our lips are just stationary. They can't go anyplace. And we're putting them in the right position, and we're just pushing air through. It's like a violinist with a bow. If you have the bow off the string and there's no sound, you put the bow on the string, and that's our air, and then you just push the air to make the vibration. So that's a very good exercise, and there's a bunch of exercises that we're going to do and that you can do at home. And the next one is number 5. And these are from a book by Max Potag, who was for many, many years second horn in the Chicago Symphony. I mean, for like 40 years or something. And so he put these together. These are all in F major, or they're all in horn C major. And we'll do them, we'll start with number 3. So look down at number 3. These are quarter notes. And he wants you, there's an accent before on each note. So he wants you to emphasize each note. 1, 2, ready, play. Number 4, another good exercise. These are 8th notes, so we're just a little bit faster. And by the way, it is repeated. I know, I see it, but we're not going to repeat. We're going to go right to the whole note at the end. Number 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and... Number 5, it's in 3/4 time, and these are triplets, so da 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 da. 1, 2, 3. That also is a really good exercise. When you get to band, and you'll see a lot of players just pull out their instrument and they start wailing away and playing all the loud, high stuff. Wrong. What you need to do is wake the lip up. This is a good way to do it. And you practice things like staccato, playing with a space between a note, trying to center each note so that you strike it cleanly, and getting a good sound all the time, trying to get the best sound that you can get. So let's do number 6. This is 16th notes. Let's do this with the repeat. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so then number 7, it goes into A minor, which is the relative minor. You can do those on your own. Requires a little bit of work probably to, especially number 9. So let's do quickly because I am running out of time here. This is another, number 6. This is slide number 6. And this is from, also by Mats Potag, is preparatory melodies, melodic pieces to be played on the horn. So we're going to try for all the things we've been talking about, a good sound, and good attack, and using the air, and staccato, and also add musicality. You want to play these as beautifully as you can. So let's not do this too fast. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, I'll let you do these by yourself. Please call or email the Monterey County Pops office with a reaction to this program. If there's something that you want me to talk about that I haven't covered, please let us know. If you can't get access to the PDF with all of these examples, let us know and we can try to find a way to get this material to you. And any questions that you might have. And there is also that if the crew wouldn't mind, there are a bunch of extra pages here, and if you can, and I'm just asking if it's convenient, could you put them on? One is online study materials for horns. So there's a whole ton of stuff online that you can get. Go to YouTube and do a search for French horn solo. You'll spend all day listening to all of the things. There's also a B-flat horn fingering chart. Please play B-flat horn. For you kids who have a double horn, please play mostly B-flat horn. You can play B-flat horn down to the low C. And you're in band or in junior high or middle school or high school, you're not going to play anything lower than that on horn. So you can play B-flat horn exclusively. It's a lot easier to play. You can get a beautiful sound on B-flat horn. I've also included a double horn fingering chart that will help you with the switch over from F horn to B-flat horn. And all of you, for you kids who don't know what it is, all a double horn is 2 sets of valves stacked on one on another, controlled by a thumb valve, and enables you to play either F horn, for usually the lower notes, or B-flat horn, usually for the higher notes. But as I've said before, you can play just about everything you need to play in middle school or high school band on a B-flat horn. And if you do have a double horn, play mostly B-flat horn, except for the low, low, low notes. You'll have a lot more fun, you'll have a lot more success, and that's what it's all about, is having success at learning how you play the horn. So, and there's also, as I say, an F horn fingering chart. If you still play F horn, it's a lovely instrument, but try to get a B-flat horn. And what I'd like to do, the crew, and I forgot to mention this, I'd like to play it out. I've got a little etude, and I'll play about the first quarter of it or something. You can just fade me out.
Yeah,
Okay.
that works great.
By the way, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you guys today, and please get in touch with us if you need some further assistance. This is an etude. You know, I don't even know who wrote this. I picked it up and I play it every day just because I like it.